All right, last game, Shane. This is the one I think is going to be the best of the weekend in the SEC. Arkansas at Ole Miss. The Rebels favored by 6 points. It's a noon kickoff, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN. Over under 66.5 points. Mm-hmm. And how about this, Shane? Ole Miss is giving free popcorn to the fans that show up to the game. So who do you like in the matchup?
Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of clever tweeting out there, a lot of people taking advantage, myself included. Hell, I've already used it once in this pod. So everybody's talking about the popcorn. Everybody's talking about, Lane Kiffin, and I think that's the problem here, man. I think the problem is the focus should be on the team. And when I watched that Alabama game, that first opening drive, it felt like Ole Miss had an opportunity to belong in this thing. But it didn't take two more drives to realize that, they're a little further back than we thought. And you look at the Arkansas, Georgia, both these teams coming off a rebound. And I think that's what makes it hard to pick on this game, because who bounces back? I think that's the key. Who bounces back? And in fact, I'm going to have to flip-flop. As we're talking, I'm looking at this score that I picked, and I'm just not uber confident. You want to talk about Morristown Honda? I'm flipping it back because I'm thinking in this game, Arkansas had such a hard time, in which everybody does against Georgia, but what really hurt them the most, I felt like, was not being able to run the ball. When they were unable to run the ball and this thing became a one-dimensional offense, Arkansas really struggled. Yeah. If Ole Miss had showed me anything last week, is that you can run the ball on these guys. And I think that plays favor for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, that defense is not as strong as Alabama's, but it's a pretty tough defense, Mike. And they've got a lot of seniors on that team. It's a senior-led program, and I think that also helps when you think about bouncing back. What time is this game?
Noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central.
Exactly. Again, another favor, I believe, for Arkansas. Now, if this were a night game and Lane Kiffin had the spotlight, I think Ole Miss may want to showcase that offense, stretch the legs, and just blow Arkansas out of the water. I don't think that's going to happen at noon. In fact, I think Arkansas comes out there with their lunch pails, Coach Sam Pittman with his cores on the sideline, and they get to work, man. I think they turn the damn jukebox up. Forget the scores. I'm predicting an upset here. Give me Arkansas bouncing back 31, Ole Miss 28.
Ooh, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's almost
Come on,
like...
tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, baby.
It's almost like you went into my head and stole some of my talking points. But, yeah, I mean, while Kiffin's out here talking up about the popcorn and all this, Sam Pittman's out here saying, by God, Georgia will not beat us twice. I guarantee it. And, it's that hard-nosed, tough mentality that I think is going to serve Arkansas well this weekend, because both these teams, you could say got exposed, but maybe just playing better teams and just weren't ready for that challenge. I know Sam Pittman has admitted they weren't up to that challenge just yet, not up to that elite level. I mean, Georgia, hell, I've been saying it all off season. I think they're going to win the national championship. They've not shown anything to disprove that as of yet. But again, you hit on the perfect point here. Ole Miss cannot stop the run. What does Arkansas do better than anything? Run the damn football. And when you're going into an environment, a hostile environment, and they got a red-hot quarterback, even though Ole Miss didn't win against Alabama and the offense didn't put up the fireworks or the popcorn, whatever the hell you want to call it, Matt Corral still was, he wasn't terrible. It was just didn't have time, was getting off it. They didn't get the offense going, and so many damn fourth down failed conversions, failed the whole team here. So I don't put a ton of that on Matt Corral. I think this is probably the game that Matt Corral wants more than any other. So I think he's going to keep this one close, Shane. But, man, I think Sam Pittman's a better coach than Lane Kiffin. I really do. And but that's not to say Kiffin's not a great play caller. I mean, hell, he may be the best in the country. He didn't look like it last weekend, but of course that was against mighty Alabama. But Arkansas and Sam Pittman, I think they've got Ole Miss's number. I really do. And hell, we got Lane Kiffin out here saying we've adopted the Arkansas defense. What a credit that is to Barry Odom and the job his staff has been doing their time in Arkansas, and they're just getting better. So which team is more likely to rebound in this matchup? I think it's got to be Arkansas, because we've already seen them in some high-profile games like Texas A&M, like Texas, and dominate those football games. We've really only seen Ole Miss in one matchup similar to that, and they just got their ass whooped. We've not seen them play an elite team and show us something outside of Louisville. I mean, who the hell's counting that as a elite matchup? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think it all suits up really well for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And, I hesitate to use the word exposed, but I think maybe Ole Miss did get exposed, particularly that defense last week against the Crimson Tide. So I'm right there with you, buddy. I got Arkansas 27, Ole Miss 24. The Razorbacks win on the road.
Man, I got a Coleman thermos there in my kitchen, and I don't use it often, but I every time I see it, I think of my grandfather. My grandfather worked in the mines. He's just one of those old school. He had a Coleman thermos lunchbox. I remember it from when I was a kid for his whole life. He was always the first one there. He's always the last one home. He was it was expected. He never missed work. He was sick. He still went to work. Right. So when I see that thermos, man, for some reason, I can't stop thinking about Sam Pittman and the Arkansas Razorbacks. That, they had a bad week last week, yes. But by God, they're going to have their lunch pail. They're going to have their Coleman thermos. Them boys are going to be out there 30 minutes before Lane wakes up, and they're going to be ready for this nooner. So that's why I've got Arkansas winning. Is like I said, I look at this team, I look at the leadership, and it's not this me mentality. And you look over here on the other side, you got Lane and the popcorn, and look, my quarterback should be a Heisman, and it's me, and all this. And I think that's rat poison, even though he tweets about it. I think he's eating the shit up right now, and that's going to bite him when they play a team like Arkansas, because these boys are going to be ready. Mm-hmm. They are. And if Ole Miss can beat Arkansas. I'm not saying they can't. A lot of folks are listening out there saying, Shane, you're crazy. Have you not seen Ole Miss offense? Yeah, they messed up against Alabama. They can. If they come into this thing prepared and they're playing Ole Miss offense like they were 2 weeks ago, yes, they could easily blow Arkansas out of the water. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think they're going to be ready for this one, and that's why I like Arkansas. Yeah,
hell, I mean, everything we just said, we both think this is a 3-point ball game. So I think it's going to come down to the wire, but I just like you. I think Arkansas is the tougher team. I think they've got the mentality to bounce back, and yeah, I'm sticking with the Hogs this week. All right, buddy. Hey, so wrapped up another predictions pod. You got anything before we hop off the line?
Yeah. Ooh, you hear that thunder, baby?
That's some Hogs.
I picked. Actually, I was going to say Saban, but I picked them to cover. So